I was given a wall clock in 1981 when I got married. It quit a year later, and I asked my wife at that time if her dad would fix it. He said he had stopped fixing clocks 15 years prior to that. He said he would talk me through it. So he talked me through that clock. He talked me through 15 other clocks. So I started going around looking for clock work at other clock shops, and that's how I started in the clock business. I opened it in 1984 down the street at 1218. It was just a little room. This was after I just got out of the Navy as a heavy equipment operator, and I was renting floor space to a lady in bedroom furniture, so we moved to a bigger location across the street. During the days, I ran a high lift digging basements, and she manned the store, and all I needed was the furniture to put the clocks on top. So I'd run a high lift during the day and come back and work on clocks at night. So that was our second location, and then a friend of mine wanted me to get into the numbering business, so I bought a machine, and printers kept saying, "Do you do die cutting?" I didn't do die cutting, but I found out what it was done on. I bought that piece of equipment. We started providing that service, which is making Rolodex door hangers, doing perfing and stuff, which other printers don't do. And as we just kept growing and growing, we just started asking printers, what do you need? What do you need? And if you have 30 or 40 printers saying, I need this, we went out and bought that strange equipment, and we did the different work that they didn't do. Then we found out we were about half price, and we had plenty of work, but we weren't making money. A year later, we found out what to do. We lost half our customers, started making money, ended up buying more equipment, and then moved to our third location, which was the 2121 North 3rd Street in 1986. Stayed in that building through the flood of '93. So we didn't really move things out, but then the water got higher and higher. We couldn't get sandbags because McDonnell Douglas had priority over all the sandbags. So we had 2 trucks, 2 trailers, and 20 people willing to help, but we couldn't get any help. And the levee finally broke a little after midnight. I believe it was August 1st, and that's the next morning we ended up with 2.5 foot of water in the building and took a boat through to see what else we could save. After the flood, we were operating out of other competitors' shops because they allowed me to do business out of there to keep me in business. We did get cleaning up the mud and stuff. The silt was terrible to try to get. Everything we owned was rusted and ruined. Ended up with an SBA loan. Unfortunately, you have to sign for collateral, which is understandable. Who wouldn't take a 4% loan for 30 years? But technically all the collateral is ruined, so you have to sign over your house and anything and everything you own. So then we turned around and bought the equipment that would cover the collateral, and 3 years later when I wanted to sell and buy a new home, they weren't allowing me to move because they wanted to keep all the collateral on that home, and it turned into a royal nightmare. I think government mandated that they sell the loans off to other banks, and at that point you're just a high-risk SBA loan, and they treated me as such. I owed them $40,000 and they had $180,000 in collateral, and still told me they didn't think my business was worth even the $40,000. If they had to sell it really quick, they doubt they could raise that from my business, and this is without even knowing me. And at that point, 3 years after that, we bought this building, which was 4.7 foot higher than the old one, so we should be 2 foot higher than the '93 flood. Should be good to go in this building. There was several hundred print shops around. We looked at that this year. We have over 1,300 customers in our database, and we are now down to 140 active customers, and half of that is probably printers. So we've lost more than 75% of the print shops that used to be in this town. It's a large amount. This is where we keep wondering how we are going to expand and stay in business in the future. Well, we're not sure how we're going to do that. We have to keep reinventing ourselves monthly, daily. The new digital press is really just a high-speed copier. People are getting rid of their printing equipment, which is keeping me in business. Printers are going to smaller buildings and saying I have a copier and using 2 and 3 employees. But then they still can't do everything, so now they're jobbing out what they used to do because they don't have a skilled person to run it, and there's your other problem, is having a skilled person. The young people want to do technologies. They want to hit print on a computer, and they can adjust the colors, but they have no idea about the ink in the water and putting ink on the paper.